Hello travelers! Recently, we've got a ton of exciting new information about all the new things coming in version 5.4. In this video, we'll take a look at all the new character banners, events, total Primogems count, and some exciting new quality of life changes coming in version 5.4. This video is packed with all the juicy details you can expect about the next patch, so make sure to stick around. I've also included chapters below, so you can easily find what you're most excited for, without having to go through all of my excessive yapping. Now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the video. Starting off with the new characters. This time, we're getting only one new 5-star character, Yumemizuki Mizuki. Mizuki is an Anemo 5-star support character who deals damage based on swirling reactions. What's interesting is that she also provides healing to her party members, which is based on elemental mastery. This makes her a versatile character, as elemental mastery not only boosts her healing abilities, but also strengthens her swirl reactions, making her effective both as a healer and a damage dealer. Recent data suggests that Mizuki will soon join the standard banner shortly after her release, making her the first Inazuma character to be added to the standard banner. Personally, I don't think many people will pull for her, not because of the banner's Hoyoverse released before version 5.4, but because players know she'll be added to the standard banner soon, making it less likely for players to pull for her during her debut. Moving on, the other character expected to appear alongside Mizuki is none other than Wriothesley himself. If you're still wondering, how can Hoyoverse let Wriothesley out of the basement? Well, I thought the same thing at first, but this time, the news has been reported by several reliable sources. So I genuinely believe Wriothesley has a stronger chance of making an appearance in 5.4. And to further support this claim, the 5.4 Spiral Abyss Blessing specifies that swirl damage dealt by the active character is increased by 75%, which clearly indicates to Mizuki, as she deals damage through swirl reactions. Additionally, the same phase of the blessing mentions that the normal and charged attack of cryo characters is increased by 75%. Which points to either Wriothesley or Ganyu, as both significantly benefit from charged attacks. However, since Ganyu will be featured in the recently Way Chronicle banner, it's highly unlikely that she'll appear in version 5.4, making Wriothesley the most likely rerun candidate. As for Phase 2, we can expect Furina as the Archon rerun, followed by Shanyun as the rerun character for the second phase. So, if we gather all the information, we can expect Mizuki as the new 5-star Anemo character, with Wriothesley joining her as the rerun candidate in Phase 1. And for Phase 2, we can see Furina as the Archon rerun, followed by Shanyun as the rerun candidate. Now, many reliable sources currently suggest this as the banner lineup for 5.4, but I personally believe it's still too early to be certain, since we're only in the beginning of version 5.3. So, I recommend being a bit skeptical. With that, we are also expected to see another Chronicle Wish banner appear in version 5.4. If you're thinking, didn't we just have one in 5.3? Well, I thought the same thing. However, this information comes from a highly reliable source, so it's worth paying attention. This time, the Chronicle Wish is expected to feature the Inazuma region, showcasing all the new 5-star Inazuma characters. As for the characters included, it could consist of Kokomi, Arataki Ito, Miko, Ayato, and Ayaka. Given the number of new character releases, it seems highly uncertain whether older characters will consistently get their reruns. However, if Hoyoverse starts implementing Chronicle Wish banners in every patch, this problem could potentially be resolved. That said, I personally don't think this will happen, and I have a reason for it too. If you take a closer look at the Inazuma characters, you'll notice that none of them are part of the standard banner yet. This doesn't align with the rules of Chronicle Wish banners, which typically requires at least 1 or 2 standard banner characters. Since there's no Inazuma standard banner characters, it seems highly unlikely that Hoyoverse would release another Chronicle Wish banner. Now, let's take a look at the new quality of life changes we can see in version 5.4. First off, we have the weapon management improvement. In this, players will be able to sort weapons based on their substats, just like how you can sort artifacts by substats. This makes it much easier to find the perfect weapon for your builds without spending too much time searching through your inventory. Previously, this wasn't possible for weapons. But from version 5.4 onwards, this sorting feature will be added to weapon management. Next, we have the filtered exploration option. In this feature, players can collect specific materials or specialties much more easily. With this update, players can focus on gathering their desired materials from the map without being distracted or misdirected by other specialties in the same area. For example, if you're trying to collect a specific item, it can be frustrating when the navigation system keeps pointing you towards something else nearby. This new feature solves that problem by only showing you the material you need for the characters. With that, there will be a quick start function for Archon Quests. This feature allows players to jump directly to the most recent Archon Quest without having to complete the previous ones first. This is mainly for new players or returning players who haven't done the earlier story, but want to experience the new Archon Quest without going through the previous ones. The only requirement is that players must have completed the 1.1 Archon Quest of the story. Speaking of returning players, from version 5.4 onwards, story quests will no longer consume story keys for returning players. This change makes it much easier to jump back into the narrative without any setbacks or needing to worry about using up story keys. With that, there will also be a feature added to the character menu known as the Quick Element feature. This feature lets players easily switch to the element they want without needing to navigate manually through the character menu, as it's designed to be right in front of the menu, making it quick and simple to use. Now let's take a look at the new event, Free Weapon, and the total amount of Primogems F2P players can accumulate in 5.4. Starting off with the new main event, this time the main event of 5.4 is set to take place in Inazuma. In this event, we will get introduced to the new character Yumemizuki Mizuki, along with some other characters such as Arataki Ito, his gang members, Kyuki Shinobu, and many more. As for its name, this event is rumored to be called Enchanted Tales of the Mawa Festival. As for the free reward, since in 5.3 we got Lang Yan as a free character, it's pretty much confirmed that we'll see a new 4-star weapon in this update. This time, the new weapon is expected to be a polearm, with 565 base attack and 30.6% energy recharge at level 90. As for its passive ability, when the on-field character uses their elemental skill, both their attack and movement speed are increased by 20% and 10%, respectively. These bonuses can increase all the way up to 40% and 10% at R5. With that, here are the upgrade materials required for this weapon. Next up, let's discuss the total amount of Primogems we can get in version 5.4. Unfortunately, the rewards in this update are significantly less than what we saw in 5.3, mainly due to the lack of map expansions and events like the Lantern Rite Festival. While 5.3 also lacked map expansions, the Lantern Rite Festival helped make up for it. However, with no such event in 5.4 and no new map, the Primogem rewards will be significantly lower than what we saw in 5.3. Starting off with the total rewards for F2P players, in 5.4, players can accumulate a total of 9,350 Primogems, equivalent to 58 wishes. For Welkin Moon players, they can obtain a total of 13,130 Primogems, which is equal to 82 wishes. And lastly, for Battle Pass and Welkin players, they can get a total of 14,450 Primogems, which is equal to 90 pulls. Lastly, let's round things up with the 5.4 Spiral Abyss and the Imagenirum Theater. For version 5.4 Spiral Abyss, here are the enemies we're getting in this update. As for its blessing, the swirl damage dealt by the active character is increased by 75%, which is likely tailored for Mizuki. The same phase of the blessing also mentions that the normal and charged attack of cryo characters is increased by 75%, which could be an indication for Wriothesley. Moving on, the next cycle of the Imagenirum Theater is said to feature characters from the Hydro, Electro, and Cryo categories, with all these characters as the opening lineup for the 5.4 Imagenirum Theater. And that's a wrap for today's video. With all the exciting content coming in version 5.4, along with new characters and gameplay mechanics, there's definitely a lot to look forward to. I hope this video helped give you a clear overview of what to expect. And as always, I'll keep you updated with more details as they emerge. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.